Fact. Did you guys know that despite all those muscles that John Dill has, he's actually a hippie? He hasn't worn shoes all day today.
No shoes on.
It is 10:08, and he has not put on a pair of shoes.
We've been up since 6?
Shit, I don't know. Stupid goddamn cat and the sunlight.
He likes the cat.
So John wanted to talk about, this is a question that we've gotten actually a lot at this point. When should we start? I don't know why I used an arrow for start. It's just, when should we?
Arrow.
Go. It meant like go, do it.
Get in there.
I don't know.
Fair enough. The intent of the question is valid, right? You know, hey, where are we at in the strength cycle, right? Like, I want to jump in at a time that's responsible for my athletes. I don't want to come in, you know, at the end of the last 2 weeks of a 12-week strength cycle and have the percentages be too heavy. And
everybody sort of thinks that if they start at the wrong point in the program or in the cycle, that they're going to end up. It's going to end up being a debacle, right? They're going to end up with too much weight, too much load on the barbell for the squats, etc.
Or no one's going to PR because they came in at the wrong point.
Well, sorry. Ideally, you would go from week 1 and just move forward, right? Because everything's kind of a progression, but we realize that's not possible. Everybody wants to be up to date with the whatever cycle is coming along. So you can't pick a date that's best to start, because there's concurring cycles all over the place, right? Usually my squat cycles are 12 weeks. I think I stretched this one out to 16. The weightlifting cycles are generally 3-week blocks or 9-week blocks. Conditioning, sometimes they're random, sometimes they're in order. So there's not going to be a better time. I can't give you a hard, fast date as for when you should start.
I can. The best time to get started is just to start immediately, right? If they wait to start at the next squatting cycle, that might be in the middle of the gymnastics progression or towards the end of the pulling progression. So there's, like you said, there's concurrent waves of different progressions. They're not all on the exact same timeline, because that wouldn't make sense. That wouldn't be optimal. If you jump right in and it happens to be towards the end of a heavier strength cycle, right, and the percentages are too high, you'll recognize that right off the bat. Your people will feel that right off the bat. So say it's 2 reps at 95%, for example, way too heavy to just jump into. So you just change it to 2 reps at 80% or 75 or whatever, just get them moving, and you'll be that much closer. And then if we test that week, cool. If you jump in on the test week or near it, then that's just a baseline that they'll have for that movement going into the next progression.
From a strength and conditioning perspective, we get caught up in these cycles, and we get caught up in these squat cycle, pulling cycle, blah, 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 right? So as a strength and conditioning coach, which you all are, it's hard to get out of that mindset. We want their squat to get bigger. But the reality is, we're not training for specifics, right? We're training for, like John said, overall life improvement. We're training for overall athleticism. Don't mistake what I'm saying, right? We haven't made some wimpy program for you to use in your gym.
It's still built to get the optimal performance out of all of your athletes, make them as competitive as possible. It's just going to be on a timeline that's built for optimal quality of life, and that is going to keep them in the game, in the fight, in the sport, whatever you want to say it, indefinitely. Here's the reality. There's another chance to reiterate. This programming is not to turn your people into national level Olympic weightlifters. It's not what we do anymore. This programming is not to build regionals athletes or games athletes. There's no such thing as regionals athletes anymore, right? And unless you're one of the top 20 in the world, there's not really any such thing as games athlete anymore. What this program is designed to do is train people optimally for quality of life and longevity as a healthy human being. And in that respect, whether they finish a 4-week progression or start another is irrelevant. What's far more relevant is the long-term stimulus and the quality of their movement and the overall programming. 2 or 3 weeks here or there, as far as the strength progression, is not going to make or break it. We're still completely believe in making human beings stronger, right?
Hell yeah.
And to clarify, what we're saying isn't that, hey, we're producing watered down programming, right? so that we don't challenge people. What we're saying is we're challenging them in a way that's responsible for the long term. So they're still going to get the squat PR, right? They're going to get it on a timeline and a pace that's built for the long term. So it's not short term gain for long term. What would you call it? Loss, long term detriment,
diminishing returns.
Diminishing return. If the culture in your gym is set to where everyone is obsessed with PRs and weight on the bar, we're gonna go ahead and tell you that we feel like it's your responsibility as the owner, as the head coach, to switch that carrot in front of the horse, to switch that emphasis. What your people should be obsessed with is the quality of their movement, and let those PRs and the weight on their bar come at a natural pace, right? So I hear, some people, oh, I hear you. I understand what you guys are saying, John and Rudy, but my people are addicted to PRs. Well, it's up to you to switch that culture. I'm not saying you go in and you tell them that, but over time, instead of celebrating, oh man, huge back squat, start celebrating the quality of the movement. Man, that technique is 10 times better. Here's why. Start celebrating that as their coach. Start providing that as the positive reinforcement as far as what you're looking for and what they're getting rewarded for or recognized for, just as much, if not more than, the weight on the bar, right?
Yeah, movement virtuosity is
It's everything.
It's the pinnacle of this whole thing. It's too much with the cycles and the worried about the percentages and the PRs. A lot of the structure is for your more accomplished movers. The percentages are important. For your less accomplished movers, those who can't get through a full range of motion, etc., the movement quality is the important thing, and just the exposure. Wait, just leave it running. Purple drink.
It's not really purple drink. It's Monster. We drank all the coffee.
But it's purple. It is purple.
Right. Just want to be clear that we're not doing illicit drugs.
Is purple drink an illicit drug?
It's code.
Amanda, you're young.
It's
is it
code for codeine cough syrup?
So it's just cough syrup.
Yeah, but prescription strength codeine.
Oh,
syrup.
that's not good. You remember Four Loko? We had some one time.
We did?
Yeah. Christmas party. I remember you drank like 4 of them. We ended up all sleeping in the living room of the gym.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. Don't do drugs.